Hello, I'm Daniel Lanzilotta. I'm the guest host for Corinne's Picks. And today's guest is Malu. He's an activist, athlete, poet. He's an amazing person. And this is a follow-up show to an evening that we spoke with Andrea Garbarini, the director, writer of The Arrivals. Let me introduce you to Malu. How are you, Power? Thank you for being here today.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to the Bronx, the BX.
Thank
I have
you.
some family out here, some running community that I'm part of. We got Bronx Soul out here, Bronx Nomads, Miles Stylers, and the Boogie Down Bronx Runners. Those are my people, so.
Thank you. So I've interviewed Andrea from The Arrivals, and you're a key activist in the movie, the documentary, a very powerful documentary about the migrants that were transported here from Texas. Is that correct? With Governor Abbott back in 2022, August of that year. And there's a shot where, the shot that's being shown right now, where you welcome families and you welcome this child. That's probably, for me, the most powerful shot in the movie. It was breathtaking for me. And outside of everything that's going on, what that represented to me was that your intense love for people and the compassion that you have for the children in general. I was just taken aback by that. And I found that, I find that we've lost that aspect of ourselves, our humanity, and that the movie The Arrivals really brings that home, having compassion, having empathy for other human beings, specifically the migrants that come here. And in light of everything that's going on politically right now with the abduction and kidnapping of people and sending them off to cages, I couldn't be happier to have you here as a guest. Can you just expound upon that and the loss of the humanity that we have?
Yeah,
or do not have?
I mean, thank you for pointing that out. I mean, we have to be thankful for Andrea for being able to actually film these moments, because we were there in the moment, just making sure that we welcome people with dignity. And we saw how politics always gets in the way of humanity, and how people were being used as political pawns. Not only were they being sent from Texas by way of bus, but they also were arriving at other ports of entry. We would find people just stranded all across the city. And it was basically our job to make sure that people felt welcomed, because I, as a Puerto Rican, saw this happening to my parents' friends when they first arrived here. As a child, I would watch how they were treated because they didn't speak English. And they were being mistreated just because of just cultural differences. And so when we went to Port Authority, it was with the intention that the people that were coming here would be welcomed as New Yorkers, because we felt that we had a position that we had to take as human beings to kind of be an example to the rest of the country and the world on how people should be treated when they first come to a place.
I like the fact that you called our new arrivals New Yorkers, and changing the narrative of illegal or undocumented. No one is illegal on this land. Exactly. And so I was very touched by that because of my own experience growing up in the Bronx. Let me just read you something. I paraphrased this, that you said. You said, migrants are a blessing to us because they shine a light on the system that is already in shambles. Essentially, you said that in the film. And that, to me, is very telling. The system is in shambles, and that we're blaming these folks that are coming here for a better life to contribute to our society, because out on the Statue of Liberty, it says it very clearly. And so when I saw you in this film, again, I'll say that I was very taken aback by your incredible way that you welcome people, especially the children. But this particularly is telling. Could you expound upon that?
Yeah, well, when I would get on the bus to welcome them, also when we were at different ports of entry, I made sure that they understood that they were going to they were going to face a lot of pushback, but the majority of the people understood why they were coming here, and we're here to help.
Right.
And I wanted them to understand that, because when politicians start coming in for photo ops, and then when the thing isn't popular anymore, they turn on them really quick, and then people can feel alone. They can go through a lot of mental health crises. People feel that they're being blamed for things that they have nothing to do with. So I wanted them to understand that this system was already in shambles since before they got here, but they are a blessing because they're allowing us to now focus on how horrible the system is. So I wanted them to see that they were actually doing us a favor to be able to actually address something that was happening since way before they got here. And that in itself, I had to have conversations with the unhoused community in New York City on the streets. And we would have these dialogue, because what the politicians were doing was kind of like making it seem like the migrants are coming in, taking their benefits and taking their home and their housing and taking their jobs. And it's a ploy that they use to divide and conquer. So I had to have these conversations with the unhoused community so that they themselves can realize and help to share the message that these people are not coming to take what's theirs. They're actually coming here out of necessity. They're escaping horrible conditions back home, and they actually want to contribute to society.
Exactly. And you also mentioned in the film that nobody really wants to leave their home.
That's right.
And that's very powerful right there. So in light of everything that's happening 2 years on from when the film was done, 22, 23, and now we're in 2025, and the fact that we're building cages instead of housing, with the same amount of money and energy that goes into building cages could be the same amount of money that could be put into the housing stock and making some decent housing for folks like people who are escaping poverty, oppression, war, the war on drugs, all of that stuff. Do you have any knowledge of the Darien Gap and the suffering and everything that goes on between the time they leave their home to get to the Mexican border?
Sure. I mean, these are a journey that they take, and they visit like over 9 countries, and they end up having to go through this desert type of area called the Darien Gap. And that is a danger zone where a lot of people don't make it out. So a lot of the kids would tell me stories of how they were walking and they would see dead bodies.
Right.
They would see bodies floating in the water, and all of these horrific visuals that they have to live with for the rest of their lives, because their parents decided to take this trek to escape some horrible condition back home, and they made it and survived, and now they're here and they make it to New York City, and they're faced with this backlash and this horrible treatment, that because it's kind of like something that is like a disease. It gets spread, and then people start acting the same way that the government is. So if the government is saying these people are evil, they're illegal, then that message starts spreading, and then people start mistreating them. So for us, it was our duty to actually help to welcome them with dignity so that they can slowly overcome this. And here we are 2-3 years later, after helping people get on their way, and now the government is actually reversing everything that we did.
And they're also going into places where the fruit is hanging very low on the branch, to immigration law, to the courts, and snatching people there. It's to me, it's really horrific that this is their tactic, instead of taking the criminals and all of the people that they said they were going to do.
Well,
and the young man was Dylan Lopez. What's his last name?
Is Contreras. This is the exact
this is insanity
thing that's going on. It's like they trick people into thinking, oh, these are dangerous people, and for public safety, and we're going to go after criminals and all these people that are invading our country. And then next thing you know, they're going right into the courthouses where people are doing the right thing. They're following the process. They're going through every process, every step that they need to. They're following the law. They're here legally, because before entering, they had to go into an application, get approved, and then seek asylum. And they were granted the opportunity to seek asylum. So they're doing everything the right way. And now they're going into these courts.
Isn't that a tactic to scare everybody who's thinking about making the journey here?
Sure, they're tricking trapping and kidnapping people in the courthouses that are not the criminals. They're not the
Right.
scary boogeyman
We know who the
that
criminals
they're saying.
are. I mean, obviously.
I mean, if they want to go after criminals, that's fine, but that's what they're using as an excuse
Right.
to go after hardworking people or people that are escaping turmoil and want to do the right thing. And those are the, like you said, the low-hanging fruit. They're going into the courtrooms, and when the judge grants them another
Or
day
walking to school.
into court, or walking to school,
Whatever,
or
it
in
seems
California,
to me, it's like whatever the easiest method to kidnap someone or abduct them.
Going into the farms.
And it's interesting to me. Just a few years ago, during the height of COVID, all the people who was like, "Don't wear a mask, don't wear a mask," are the same people who are wearing masks who are the kidnappers.
How horrible is that?
That's
that
very
these
ironic,
people
isn't
are
it?
wearing masks.
Yeah.
They're not showing who they are.
Right.
They're not announcing themselves. They have all of these things that they're hiding, and then they're okay with kidnapping people.
Right. So, in light of everything that's happening, in your experience, how do we counteract this kind of criminal activity on behalf of the people who are doing the kidnapping? What is the solution?
I think that the solution is just everyday New Yorkers. When we're talking about New York, I think everyone around the world has to step up and has to voice what's going on and be
I think
able
we're
to.
seeing that, for instance, in Scotland, when Donnie went off to go
Yeah,
play golf,
yeah.
and the outpouring of great affection for doing the right thing. I saw one truck with Donnie and the other guy driving around in Scotland, and I was very touched by the fact that this was happening there and that he wasn't welcomed. So, but how do we do that here in this country, in every city?
People are doing it, especially in New York City. They're going into the courts. They're actually trying to accompany people to their hearings, to their ICE check-ins. They're trying to step up and step in the way and make this difficult. As long as we continue to make it difficult and show them that we're not going to allow this, little by little, they start noticing that the majority of the people are stepping up and taking it to the streets, and then they're going to have to back off. I think it just takes the action of the people to actually stand up. I mean, we're doing every little thing that we can as an organization.
Right.
I have a soccer program to help the kids. We help them with their mental health. We help them with just getting more lawyers to apply for different things that they can qualify for. We help them get food. Anything that we can do to help lift up their morale and let them know that we're there for them. When it comes to the law is being broken left and right by this administration. So frankly, what we have to do as human beings is just step up and get in the way of all of this nonsense the most that we can and make it where they're not comfortable doing what they're doing.
Right.
Because if we don't do that, they're going to continue to go after everyone, and not only the immigrants. They're going to start going after the so-called citizens as we start seeing this happen.
Yeah, we're seeing that now. The movie The Arrivals, which is, I find to be a very, very powerful film, brings it to a certain point, and then everything just kind of shifted to this insanity of with the current administration. Like you said, people came through the Daring Gap. They're coming here for all the right reasons, and they're participating in the American dream and trying to make their lives better. And then all of a sudden, this thing just has snowballed into this insane, morphed into this insane horror that with the ICE, whatever, police.
The fear-mongering, that's it.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
fear-mongering. How are we going to rectify on the side of the right side of history? How am I going to be on the right side of history? Me. And the right side of history is having you here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also volunteering with different organizations, accompanying people, just you being a presence at these places.
Right.
People can volunteer with us. They can be a company. They can help to mentor a lot of the youth because we do a lot of different programs at our church, at different organizations, have different places where they provide services, and people can just volunteer.
That's what we need, more volunteers. We're going to go cut for a break right now. And then when we come back, we'll continue on with that subject matter.
Cool.
Welcome back. I'm Daniel Lanzilotta. I'm guest host for Corinne's Picks, and I'm here with Power Malu, one of the lead activists in the film The Arrivals, written and directed by Andrea Garbarini. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were just talking about all the insanity post the arrival of the migrants from Texas, 2022, 2023, and the turn of events that have occurred under the current administration and how horrifying it all is. And again, when I watched the film again last night, and my thing about the whole thing was humanity, the love that you show, the intense love that you show, and this empathy and compassion. And to me, this is what's so important about the film. I think this is the solution to the issues at hand, and I don't believe that under the current administration, they have no concept of humanity, no concept of empathy, no concept of compassion. Did I say that already?
No, yeah, you're right. It's fabricated chaos.
This is where I think I would like to spend some time with you, because I see that you exude this. This is your power, really. And the fact that I looked up, I wanted to know more about the name Power Malu, and I looked up the word Malu, and I saw that it was a Hawaiian name or word meaning peace, to protect, and shelter. And the two words juxtapositioned to each other, Power Malu, is very intriguing to me, and I find it really powerful. And so with that, I would like to explore how we use the energy of love, respect, compassion, empathy to override this insanity. And I think you're the perfect person to speak to that.
Yeah, and the energy comes from being able to tap into our spirit. Our spirit connects us all, right? Whatever name people want to give it, we're all connected to an ultimate source of energy. And as being Boricua, being Puerto Rican, I tap into my roots. I want to give a big example of how important it is for people to come together whenever fabricated chaos gets thrown into the mix and people try to divide and conquer. In 2019 in Puerto Rico, the people of Puerto Rico were able to oust the governor of Puerto Rico. It was the first time in history that this happened. And what riled the people together was these chats. It was very simple. These chats were leaked where the administration was talking about every different group that normally wouldn't get together or wouldn't get along. But because they had that common thing where the enemy was speaking bad about each group, and in a way where they didn't care about the people, the constituents, the people got together and were able to oust this governor in 2019. And one of the phrases was, "Somos más y no tenemos miedo." There's more of us and we're not afraid. And that is what has to happen with us here in the United States. To take an example of that small island in Puerto Rico, to be able to say if those people were able to oust that person that was in charge of their country or their nation, then we can do the same. Because what we need to do is be able to tap into our spirits, because what they use is the material, they use social media, they use like all of these exterior forces to make us afraid. And when we're able to tap into our spirit and see that we are really all connected as human beings, that empathy, that compassion, that love can overcome anything. It moves with a force, this energy that no one can really understand until you tap into it. And that's, I think, that what we need to do is be able to do that. When we're able to sit with that for a moment and do away with all of the things, the tactics that they try to use to divide our people, which is the oldest trick in the book, but it constantly works. It's like these people are taking what's yours.
Exactly.
These people don't look like you. When we're able to do that, we can overcome what's happening.
We'll find out soon enough when there's no vegetables in the supermarkets, and the houses aren't getting built, and the lawns aren't getting cut, and the babysitting jobs aren't being fulfilled, and those folks are affected by the loss of the people they're kidnapping. And I do agree with you wholeheartedly that it is that power that you're speaking to, and I think you are just the most amazing person that way, because you are exuding this. And so when I saw the meaning of Malu, I was like, wow, now I get it. I get you better now. And you said it so eloquently just now, and I think that's absolutely correct. We have to do this, and I think that this medium that we have right now, and I hope that this show goes viral, because I think that's what we have to do. This show has to go viral and speak to the love, because the folks in the oppressor, they don't want this. And I would always say to people, don't resist. Don't resist. Resistance is heat in the circuit. It creates friction. You want to have conductivity. You want to speak to somebody who's not like you, doesn't look like you, who's not the same religion, sexual orientation. And that's where we need to go with this. You're saying it in a different way, but it has to be about the conductivity, because the oppressor doesn't want us to be conductive and speak to each other. This stuff has to stop. And you're that man.
Yeah,
I believe in you.
Thank you. They don't want us to connect. You know,
No, they do not.
That's why
they're frightened of that.
Yeah.
And the thing you were saying about the chats, I think that's happening right now with the thing with the files.
Where everything that's
Those
going
files.
on, you know, people start saying, wait a minute, this guy is not who I thought it was. Because, you know, it's easy for people to get caught up when you have like the marketing power and you're able to kind of like continue to bombard people with all these messages. That's easy for people to be divided. But when you have a conversation and you're able to actually start seeing the reality of what's going on and really like deal with people and human beings on a one-on-one, and then connect with different communities, then you start seeing that a lot of us have a lot in common, and that's exactly what they don't want. They don't want us to communicate. They don't want us to build community. No. They want us to be afraid of each other, because they know that once we have these conversations, we're going to be able to call them out on their BS.
Do you know the self-help guru Louise Hay?
No.
She was a self-help guru back in the day, and I remember her saying, "You are a different expression of me." This is a quantum physics idea, right? You're from the same source, that one source. It's all the same. You're just a different expression of me. Your cells, your blood, everything that you're made of is me.
That's right.
And everybody else that exists is you. And that's what frightens them. And they can't accept that. They can't accept that they are derivatives of us. And so it's very intriguing to me that the way to fix this and to change the narrative of what's going on is just that. Don't resist, be conductive, have conductivity, and just engage with them, because they're afraid of it. And it's really what you said. It's about the love and showing respect and the compassion and the empathy that the arrival is so. It's just marvelous how the film works and how welcoming and loving everyone is in that film, and how it all comes together from basically nothing. And it's really quite interesting in the beginning of the film and the exposition of the film, how the people who are running the welcoming committee, sort of to speak, you know, how like overnight it happened. And one of the other characters said, "We were already doing this." You know, that's powerful stuff. It was already in place. And so to me, the movie really speaks to all of that. And I think that that's the way to go. That's the solution for me.
Yeah, and you see people from all different walks of life coming together to help. You know, it's not just like one neighborhood or one demographic. It's people from all over New York City that came together and said, we're going to step up and we're going to show the government how it's done. So regardless if they were in the way, we figured out how to move around and pivot to get the people the help that they need. Because a lot of times that's what politics is all about. They need the chaos in order to get more funding for themselves, to say that this is a scary thing and they run on this, elect me, I'm going to get rid of this problem. And we just stepped up as New Yorkers and said, we're just going to do the right thing and show people how it's done. And we've been doing it since. So right now we have another problem in front of us, and we just got to figure out how to connect with each other to get rid of that problem. And that problem is this government trying to come in as a fascist government and trying to undo everything that we've done. And we're only talking about this like 3 years of helping people. Imagine the over 60, 70 years of people wanting to, you know, change this country with the civil rights movement and all the things that they did.
The erasure thing,
everything that they're doing to change.
It's quite staggering. It's
the progress.
It's really, it's quite sad to see. Growing up in the Bronx, where I grew up with this kind of slogan: those with the most have the most to lose, and those with the least have always been working with the least. So they know how to make it work with very little. And that's a powerful place to be when you have very little to work with, but you make it happen anyway.
Yeah.
So I know you know this story very well. I'm so honored that you're here. Do you have a closing statement would you like to share with everybody?
Just for people to get away from the ego system and get with this ecosystem and get away from the me, and start thinking about the we as a collective, as that's the way that we can overcome all the negativity and all the evil that is happening at this moment, because it can seem overwhelming, but when we're able to tap into the little bit that we can help and support, volunteer here, volunteer there, just with the energy and the vibration and shifting that, that's more powerful than the physical things that they try to do. We don't have the weaponry to go against a military that is against the people, but we have the energy, and that force of energy is way stronger than any physical weapon that can be pointed at the people. Somos más y no tenemos miedo is a strong statement, and I just want people to understand that they're not alone in this, and that as a people, we can come together as a community, build, and that vibration will help us to be able to overcome this stuff that's going on right now.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing you just said. Let us take this when it's complete and put it out there into the world so that people can see what we just started talking about, that you're a different expression of me and I'm a different expression of, well, of everyone else. So thank you again for being a guest. Daniel Lanzilotta, I'm the guest host for Corinne's Picks. Thank you so much, Power, to be here today speaking to the film, the arrivals, and everything you've done to show us the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'ma show you how to party.